Welcome back to Botanical Bliss. Today we're tackling one of gardening's most misunderstood topics, the difference between compost and humus. I've noticed many of you asking about this in the comments, and for good reason. Using the right material at the right time can dramatically impact your garden's success. Let's clear up the confusion once and for all and give you practical knowledge you can apply immediately in your garden. Compost and humus exist on the same decomposition continuum but represent different stages of organic matter breakdown. Compost is organic matter that has undergone initial decomposition. It's dark, crumbly material where you might still recognize tiny bits of the original ingredients. It's rich in nutrients and teeming with microbial life. Humus, by contrast, is the end stage of decomposition, a stable, complex substance that resists further breakdown. It's completely transformed from its original materials into compounds that can persist in soil for decades or even centuries. The simplest way to distinguish them? Compost feeds your plants, while humus improves your soil structure and function. Compost acts somewhat like a slow-release organic fertilizer, while humus works more like a long-term soil conditioner that enhances nearly every aspect of soil health. Reach for compost when you need to boost soil fertility and biological activity. In my vegetable garden, I apply a 1 to 2 inch layer of compost about 2 weeks before spring planting, allowing microbes to begin breaking it down and releasing nutrients just as seedlings establish their roots. For hungry summer crops like tomatoes and squash, a mid-season side dressing of 1/2 inch provides sustained nutrition through their productive phase. Annual flowers benefit tremendously from compost incorporated at planting time. I've seen marigolds nearly double in size when planted in compost-amended soil versus untreated beds. For container gardens, I mix roughly 25 to 30% compost into my potting medium for vegetables, while ornamentals need slightly less, about 20%. Compost also works wonders as a top dressing for lawns, applied in a thin layer, about 1/4 inch, in early spring or fall. Humus serves different purposes and should be used where its unique properties matter most. Because it's more stable, humus won't provide the same immediate nutrient boost as compost, but it excels at improving soil structure permanently. I apply humus-rich materials to areas with persistent drainage problems, working about 2 inches into heavy clay soils to create lasting channels that allow water movement without compaction. Sandy soils benefit enormously from humus applications. Its colloidal properties dramatically increase water retention. In my sandy raised beds, incorporating humus-rich material reduced watering frequency by nearly 30%. Areas prone to erosion stabilize remarkably when amended with humus, as its complex carbon compounds bind soil particles together into stable aggregates that resist both water and wind erosion. Humus creates the ideal environment for mycorrhizal fungi, the underground networks that extend plant root systems and access nutrients from far wider areas. For permanent plantings like fruit trees, native gardens, and perennial beds, humus-rich soil supports these complex relationships, leading to more resilient plants with better stress tolerance. Making effective compost requires balancing carbon-rich materials, also known as browns, nitrogen-rich materials, referred to as greens, moisture, and oxygen. Start with a layer of coarse browns like small branches or corn stalks for drainage. Then, alternate layers of browns and greens in a ratio of roughly 3 to 1 by volume. Maintain moisture similar to a wrung-out sponge, damp but not soggy. Turn your pile every 2 to 3 weeks using a pitchfork, moving materials from the outer edges to the center. After 3 to 4 heating cycles, allow the pile to cure for 4 to 8 weeks before use. Finished compost should be dark brown, crumbly, and smell pleasantly earthy with no traces of the original materials visible except for some woody pieces. Creating true humus takes significantly more time, but yields material with unique properties. Begin by creating compost as described above, but after the heating cycle's complete, transfer the material to a separate curing bin where it will remain undisturbed for 6 to 12 months. In practice, I've found the most effective soil improvement strategy combines both compost and humus. For annual vegetable gardens, use approximately 70% compost to 30% humus-rich material to balance immediate fertility with lasting soil improvement. Remember that soil building is a continuous process. Annual applications of compost maintain biological activity and nutrient cycling, while less frequent additions of humus-rich materials build long-term soil structure and carbon sequestration. This dual approach creates resilient soils that require progressively less intervention as their self-regulating properties improve. If you found this guide helpful for understanding the differences between compost and humus, please support the Botanical Bliss channel by subscribing and sharing this video with fellow gardeners. Drop a comment below about your own experiences. I'd love to hear what's working in your garden. Until next time, happy growing!